What's up, everyone? It's KK, and today we're going to go over the top 5 things that I think would be amazing to add to Exfil Zone. Now, of course, my opinions do not matter, but I believe if these are implemented into the game, it will change a lot and make things feel a lot better. So let's go ahead and lock in. Now, if you know me, you would know that I believe that anything closer to Tarkov is where we should be going with this game. Now, one thing that I would really love to see is a scope toggle zoom feature. Now, one thing about this game is, having to put your hand on top of the scope to adjust the zoom. Of course, it's very realistic, but when it comes to actual PvP and fighting, it's just not practical. You lose sight of your target, you're not really able to hold angles as much as you want, and I think it really does scare a lot of people away from variable scopes. Honestly, I just think that's something that does need to be implemented into the game. I also did see today they just previewed magnified scopes, so hopefully those magnification scopes are going to be able to be used in front of all 1x scopes, and I think that's kind of a good alternative. Is more of like a scope switch from 1 to 4x rather than a smooth zoom from 1 into 4x, because that smooth zoom is a little too time consuming rather than just flipping up a magnifier. So it's cool they are adding the magnifier to the game, but I would like to see an option for a toggle zoom feature just for a quick 1x to 6x, or 4x to 6x, or 12x, whatever the Nighthawk and the Hunter scope has. The next thing I would like to see a major change for is the recoil in this game. Now, I truly believe that all assault rifles should be able, with the right attachments, at least a decent amount of them should be able to get down to where the SMGs are in recoil, okay? I feel like right now the recoil is a little too ridiculous. I'm not really sure what the purpose or the goal of it is, but I've never played a shooter where I wasn't able to control my gun as much as I haven't been able to in this game. Even at close ranges, just trying to spray, especially with 7.61 weapons, it's completely uncontrollable. And I just know, I can hop on Tarkov, and I believe it's the MK18, which is like the SSR in that game, and if I mod that out correctly, I could get like 0 recoil almost. Obviously, I don't know. It's hard to say whether that's the right move to make, but I believe that it will make the guns feel a lot better. I think right now the semi-auto tap meta with a lot of these automatic weapons is making them feel the same. They just all feel too similar. I want to really be able to control and spray my weapon. So hopefully we get some adjustments to recoil, because I think it's a little too dramatic right now. Okay, now this is one of my biggest gripes right now with the game is the scavs. The scavs right now in Exfil Zone are absolutely disgusting. They're horrible. I don't know whose decision it was to make them this way. I just absolutely hate it. And I say it all the time, bro. It takes 5 seconds to step into Tarkov and go into a raid and see that the scavs do not behave this way. Like, scavs should just only be a beacon of audio to let players around the map know where players are rotating to, and just get an overall judgment of where players are moving at, basically. And I feel like in this game they're trying to make scavs like another hardcore enemy or something to really focus on or pay attention to, which I don't think it should be like that at all. If I'm playing Tarkov, I could walk past a scav and it would never even bat an eye if it didn't actually look at me or turn my direction. Like, I can easily walk past them. If they start shooting at me, they're never gonna chase me unless it's like a rogue or like a guard or something, like a boss. They're never gonna chase you. It just never happens in Tarkov. So I don't understand why they make them so brutal or like aggressive in this game, but I definitely think it needs to be turned down. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about here is movement speed. Now, the movement speed when you're walking in this game is completely fine. I think when it comes to a full sprint, the movement speed may be a little too quick. Now, hear me out here. Obviously, people are used to playing big maps like Suburb and Dam, and I think that's why the movement speed in this game is so quick. But when you get into really close quarter situations, like if we're fighting inside of a hospital or we're fighting anywhere else around the map, and players are, peeking these corners, they can fly around these corners so quick. And even like at a close range, players can move so fast to the point where even at zero weapon smoothing, it's impossible to track them on the route. Like if they're moving, I would say 15 to 20 meters in front of you and they're just running, beelining somewhere, it's really hard to full auto spray and keep your crosshair lined up on the target. For some reason, the movement speed in this game is just a little too quick when running. So I think that it needs to be turned down just a little bit. Now, that may just be my preference. I don't know if anyone else even cares to understand that. I think, like I said again, it's a Tarkov thing. When I'm playing Tarkov, I'm in customs, I'm in dorms. If someone peeks around the corner, I can tap your head easily. You showed yourself around the corner, you're gonna die. In Exfil zone, people will dash around the corner, they'll fly past your crosshair, and you're not gonna catch them in a close quarter situation with a precise shot. So it's really a challenge there. And the very last thing that I believe needs to be changed in this game that I'm sure a lot of people will agree with is taking out high value loot from being able to put them in the containers. That's definitely something that it's not really worth it right now. It feels like a lot of these players are still coming in naked, and even right now, it's the wipe event and players are coming in naked. I have no idea why. I don't know what this naked problem is coming from, but at this point, anything that can reduce that from being a thing is better. And I think a step towards that is definitely going to be, stop people from putting that high value loot into their containers. Because I can already see early white players are going to lose their kits quickly and start running in naked, as soon as possible to try to stuff something into their container. So that definitely needs to, be taken care of before that becomes the norm. Other than that, I believe that's about it. I have a lot of opinions about this game, but hopefully they just keep developing it. They haven't really missed so far with a lot of their updates. Everything's been solid. But yeah, so either way, hit the like button if you like the video. Hit up the comment section if you have any other suggestions that you believe should be made to the game. And then go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more related content. And I'll catch you guys later.